Hey, what is up, guys? This time nothing should happen. I was using the YouTube webcam and it just completely rejected me twice. So this time nothing should happen. Um, so I can see why no one uses the YouTube webcam now, though. But I'll get to that in a different video, maybe on when the Talkinator. But now my thing's making me go slow. But anyways, I'm here to give you my Smackdown review. This Smackdown was pretty good. They had a lot of good matches. They showed like a ton of advertisements, though. They showed the "Don't Try This at Home" ad a bunch of times, and the Money in the Bank ladder match ad a bunch of times. It was really annoying. So then we get JBL and Michael Cole on commentary. And then it shows the Payback pay-per-view. Pretty much every match. It's just the one they showed on main event. It was fine with me. Then Daniel Bryan comes out and talks about how he doesn't want because he's upset that the doctor stopped the match for his health, even though he wanted to continue the match. And he talks about how Randy Orton shook his hand through pity, not respect. And he talks about how he was being treated like a little boy and a dog, that he didn't want to be treated like that. So then Randy Orton comes out and says that he didn't shake his hand out of pity, he shook it out of respect. And he respects Daniel Bryan. He says that he respects Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan doesn't believe him. He still thinks he's the weakling because he has said it. So then Randy Orton says that Daniel Bryan's not going to be carried out tonight. He's going to be no, he's not going to be walking out tonight. He's going to be carried out. And that was the segment. It was a fine segment. They work good with each other. They have good promos together. So he brought Randy Orton to his A game, I think. So then we get Sheamus versus Cody Rhodes with Damien Sandow, and during this it shows a "Don't Try This at Home" ad. Brodus Clay talks about it. Cody Rhodes pulls the win apron, and that causes Sheamus to fall. And then Cody Rhodes puts his arm into the post, and then Cody Rhodes starts to work over his arm. One punch, Sheamus went to go off the top, do that flying neckbreaker he does outside the ring. No, not neckbreaker, flying shoulder block, but Cody Rhodes reverses it into an armbar, and Sheamus doesn't tap out. Then Sheamus does his comeback, and he goes to go off the top rope, but Damien Sandow intervenes, but he kicks him, throws Cody into Sandow, and then Sheamus goes for the Celtic Cross, but Cody Rhodes reverses it into a pin, but he kicks out, and Sheamus gets the Texas Clover League win, and Cody taps. And Sandow attacks Sheamus from behind. Good match, and I like what they're doing with Sandow. Do something with Cody Rhodes, though, because he's been losing a lot. Well, a ton lately. I'm not even going to say a lot. It was a ton. So, keep him in the loop, if that makes sense. But we'll see where he goes. The Wyatt family video package, I'm looking forward to these guys coming. I really want to see these guys make their debut. They're going to be great. But that's a video for, well, hopefully that happens soon, but and then we get I need to have a sip of my Pepsi. Then we get Curtis Axel defending the Intercontinental Championship against Paul Heyman. No, not Paul Heyman. It's with Paul Heyman. Curtis Axel with Paul Heyman defending the Intercontinental Championship against Wade Barrett with the Miz on commentary. During this, it shows a Money in the Bank ad. They showed a lot of these. Pretty good match here. Wade Barrett kicks, does that boot that he does in the ropes that causes Axel to fall out of the ring. And then he has a stand up. Then he kind of talks trash to the Miz, which causes Axel to hit the neck breaker and maintain the championship. And then he has a stand down with Miz after. So we're definitely gonna get Curtis Axel versus the Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. I just don't know when they're gonna do that yet. Then we get a Mark Henry video package, and then it shows his retirement. I still like to watch that. I still am like amazed that they really did that. That they really had Mark Henry say that he's gonna retire. Like, it was all a ruse. I like how smart WWE was to do that. So I gotta thank WWE for doing that, because there were times where I feel embarrassed that I'm a wrestling fan because of some of the stuff they do. But then I'm like, this is great. I'm glad I'm a wrestling fan, you know? So, that was just great stuff. Mark Henry probably, like, I was like, is he really going to retire? Because I was actually pretty disappointed, and I thought it was real. I've said this already, but I'm saying it again. When he brought up his family and his children, but he goes to hug, Cena goes to hug him, and he gives him the world's strongest slam. I'm never going to forget this. Maybe. But then, let's get to the next match. We get AJ Lee with Biggie Langston versus Natalya. During this, it shows a Don't Try This at Home ad with Zack Ryder talking about it, and a Money in the Bank ad. AJ Lee wins with the Black Widow, and then after the match, Caitlyn, Oksana comes to Caitlyn and kind of makes fun of her about a week, and then Caitlyn hits her in the back of the head with the water ball, and they brawl, and then the Divas have to break it up. So on Raw, we're probably going to get Caitlyn versus Oksana, and eventually we're going to get AJ Lee versus Caitlyn again for the Divas Championship. That's going to be a good match again, because they had a good match at Payback. I want there to be a stipulation involved because of the personal rivalry they have right now. So I think there probably will be a stipulation involved. Then we get Chris Jericho versus Alberto Del Rio. During this, it shows Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan's segment and a Please Don't Try This at Home ad, this time with Kofi Kingston talking about it. Pretty good match here. Del Rio, though, still only does kicks. He needs to do other moves, I think. Like, Cena needs to do other moves and Orton needs to do other moves, but they don't just do kicks. Like, he needs to do more moves than kicks, because they at least do, like, clotheslines, power slams, and neck breakers once in a while. So he needs to do other things besides kicks. But he throws Jericho into the barricade. Jericho does a high cross body. Del Rio kicks out. Del Rio kicks him in the head, but Jericho kicks out. Then he gets the walls of Jericho in on Del Rio, but Ricardo Rodriguez gets up on the apron, and then he gets the walls and Jericho on him. But he does it the Lion Tamer version. But then Dolph Ziggler comes out and attacks Alberto Del Rio, which causes Chris Jericho to get disqualified, so Del Rio wins. And then Chris Jericho gets pissed about that, and then he gives the codebreaker to Dolph Ziggler right afterwards, and then he leaves. And then Del Rio and Ricardo get back in the ring and double team Ziggler and kick him in the head. Oh my gosh, that just felt awful. And then yeah, that's what happened. So Ziggler as a face. I think I said this on Raw, but I'm not. I think I did. Where does this leave? Like, is he still gonna be with Biggie Langston and AJ Lee? Because they're heels. We clearly know AJ Lee's a heel. Biggie Langston we kind of know is a heel because he's with AJ Lee, and I think he's gonna be separated from them, and maybe in the future they're gonna do Dolph Ziggler versus Biggie Langston, with Ziggler being the face, and that's kind of weird because everyone was thinking that Biggie Langston would be the face, but Ziggler would be in the face. It's gonna be different. They haven't done too much with it yet, but they are going. I think they're gonna get there eventually. They just probably want to wait for him to heal up from his concussion fully. Money in the Bank ad again. Wow, stop that. Then it shows Chris Jericho and Alberto Del Rio's match. We get Drew McIntyre with Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal versus Christian. Heath Slater gets up on the apron, so Christian kind of sweeps his leg, and then Christian hits the kill switch on Drew McIntyre for the win. Could have been a better match if there was no 3MB. Could have been way better because they've had good matches before. I think they have had matches. Yeah, I remember they had matches before. They had good matches. So Christian gets on the mic and talks about how he's happy to be back in front of the fans who have supported him, and he's back for one more match. I remember he used to say that all the time, and that used to annoy me. It's kind of still is annoying, but he doesn't do it as often. And that was like a chant. One more match. I remember Night of Champions 2011. Sheamus and Christian were all chanting it, and Sheamus just blow kicks him. That was great. But anyways, the Shield then comes out, and instead of coming through the crowd, they come through the entrance this time. I hope this is the only time they do that. because I really like it when they come to the crowd, but they probably wanted it to be more unexpected. But then, so then they attack Christian and hit the triple powerbomb on him. That was fine. They're trying to, like, I think they want to make the Shield look like a threat, like, even more like a threat since they've lost last week. So I'm fine with that. So let's just get on to the next match. Well, Brock Lesnar video package, they showed that. And then we get Jim. Like I said, they showed a From the Vault match again. They did it in April. And then they didn't do it again till now. Like, I think they should keep doing this because it gives fans a history lesson of what happened in the early days. And I think the fans should see what used to happen in the early days. But if they don't want to do it, that's not my problem. But I would do it though. We get so yeah, the match that we got there was from October 1991. Jim the Anvil Neidhart versus the Mountie with Jimmy Hart, the man from the South. They had an okay match. They didn't have the greatest. It's a 2-hour show though. They can't probably show like the Hell in a Cell match between Triple H and Shawn Michaels, or the match between Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. So they probably want to do short matches. So this wasn't a bad match. The Mountie dominating him with a headlock, and then Jim the Anvil Neidhart came back with backdrops, clotheslines, stuff like that. Then he goes to run into the corner, but the Mountie moves out of the way and rolls him up and holds the tights for the win. So that was fine with me because I didn't want to watch it then, so I didn't know what the storyline. Guess it made the Mountie kind of like a star, I guess. Then it shows CM Punk and Brock Lesnar's rivalry. And this is where it was before it shut down on me the first time, and I can just picture it gonna do that to me now. Let me just make sure it's not gonna. It's probably gonna now. Actually, no, it won't. I have an hour. Paul Heyman interview. Renee Young asked Paul Heyman what's going on between CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, but Heyman doesn't want to share his personal life, so he kind of shows an example of what that's like by putting up Renee's personal stuff, how her and her father don't have a good relationship, her uncle pulled his prom date out of the vehicle, how her and her fiance broke up in New York or something, I forget, but that was actually pretty good stuff by Heyman. So he said, right now, CM Punk's not my client, we're good friends. So I wanted to talk about my client, Curtis Axel, retaining the IC title. Was like, oh, you want to pay attention? Typical. Why am I coughing so much? And then we have, then we get the main event. We get Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan. During this, it shows the Shield's video package and the Money in the Bank ad. This was a good match they had. Randy Orton dominates the match for a little bit by doing his... He actually suplexes Daniel Bryan from the apron on the outside. Daniel Bryan gets into it when he does the drop kicks. Orton does the rope DDT and then the suplex. Daniel Bryan does the yes kick to the head. And then Orton does the backdrop into the barricade, and then he goes to give him the DDT on the outside. But Daniel Bryan reverses it and puts his back against the barricade, and Daniel Bryan does the flying knee, and then he gets in the win and does the suicide dive. And then Daniel Bryan makes it in the win before Orton does, so he wins by countout, but Daniel Bryan wasn't satisfied with that, so he wants the ref to restart the match, and it ends with him just saying yes. But we never find out if the match actually restarted, so that was an interesting Smackdown. Excuse me, by the way. I really liked this show. I liked the ending, though, how, like, he asked for the match to be restarted. Like, that was great stuff right there, but that was a good Smackdown this week. That's pretty much it, guys, though. I will be back at some point in time to give my another video, but that's pretty much it, guys. Probably Raw review, though, but that's pretty much it, guys. See you later. I'm gonna go watch Suicide Dive Wrestling's video.